just reviewing pictures at the same time.
We're ready. Good, actually, awesome.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Welcome to the October 27th, 2025 Board of Aldermen meeting for the City of Town and Country. I now call the meeting to order and ask everyone to rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I would at this point ask the city clerk to call the roll for attendance.
Alderman Gerber.
Here.
Alderman Harder.
Here.
Alderman Hughes. Here. Alderman Kinsella.
Here.
Alderman Murphy.
Here.
Alderman Sawyer.
Here.
Alderman Schwer.
Present.
And Alderman Steinegal.
Here.
Mayor Reed is presiding. We do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Before we go on to approving the minutes, a couple things I just want to point out just really briefly. One is that I guess it was Friday night, Principi had a football game under the lights, and they got a special permit to have lights. I did not attend the game, and I was up and down Clayton Road quite a bit. And I thought they did it in a nice way, that these light standards were not way, way up in the air. They were barely above the stands looking down. So I feel like the disruption to the neighbors had to be pretty minimal. They couldn't have had those lights more concentrated on the field area. So I think they did a great job in that regard. Secondly, I do want to, and more importantly, I want to recognize Officer Josh Hamill. On September 5th, while off duty, Officer Hamill came upon a serious crash without thinking twice. He just stepped in to help. He pulled several people away from burning vehicles and immediately began providing aid. He then rescued a woman from a car that was fully on fire, which takes a lot of courage to approach a car that's fully on fire. He quickly put out the flames on her clothing and stayed with her, offering comfort and prayer until paramedics arrived. For this incredible bravery and quick action, Officer Hamill has been awarded the Town and Country Police Department's Distinguished Service Citation with Battle Reward, and boy, did he deserve it. Congratulations, Officer. so many times for society, things like that happen, and people just kind of pass on by and don't want to get involved, so, again, it's a testament to the really fine men and women in our police department. Honestly, in addition to getting to know the city staff, one of the highlights of being the mayor, frankly, is getting to know the men and women of our police force, so congrats. And you, along with our other officers, certainly represent the city very well. Moving on to the minutes from the 10/13/25 meeting, I take a motion and a second to approve.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion or amendment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Go a little bit out of order, I'm gonna actually go into appointments next. I now seek approval for the appointment of Natasha Houghton Simon to the Planning and Zoning Commission, and she is present with us tonight as required by code. She's really qualified. She has a master's in urban planning, real estate development. She owns her own real estate brokerage and planning firm. She's a trustee of a subdivision. She's a lifetime resident, great family in our city. So I seek a motion and second to approve.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Other than saying she's a great candidate. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. And I want to thank you for being willing to do this. That's a relatively tough commission. And not that all our commissions don't look at things in great detail, but they go to the nth degree on planning and zoning, trying to preserve what we have here in the city. So, welcome aboard, and I'm trying to think, when is our next meeting?
It's November
19th. Okay, great. Again, welcome on board. There were no public hearings. I do have a couple of notes from citizens that would like to speak, and the first one is, you're right, I forgot that. I have a second appointment. Thank you for pointing that out. For sure. Okay. I now seek approval for the appointment of Haley Jaworski to the Architecture Review Board with an effective date as December 1st. She is a real estate agent and also a lifetime resident. I think eminently qualified. Is there a motion to approve in a second?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And I apologize for my oversight. All right. We have, I think, a husband and wife who wants to speak. Either Amy or Cyril can go first. Whoever wants to speak first.
Sure.
Is it Marishkin?
Narishkin, that's how it's
Okay.
pronounced,
All
yeah.
right. If you just come up, state your name and your address, and
My name is Cyril Narishkin at 1812 Bradburn Drive, and I'm concerned about the amendment that was made to this number one item on the, I guess it's first item on the
Right.
list,
2543. Yeah.
where it says that solar panels will not be visible from the street. My concern is that kind of makes it very difficult for a lot of people to put solar panels because based on the way their house is positioned and the trees around them. I had the opportunity to run a company that put solar panels in New Orleans. We actually installed about 3,000 solar panels. It made a huge difference down there. And we also got a lot of pushback that the solar panels are going to look ugly, but they don't look that bad. And we get accustomed to it and actually help out our community and our future generations a lot more than getting adjusted to a look. I've lived around the world, and actually the first time I moved to this part of the country, the black roofs kind of were like weird to me because that's not what I grew up with. So I think we can get accustomed to something that will help future generations and not make it impossible for everybody in the community to not necessarily put the solar panel based on the way their house is positioned and the trees around them. So that's my comment.
Thank you for coming.
Similarly, excuse me, I'm Amy Narishkin, and also residing at 1812 Bradburn Drive in Town and Country. And we actually had a quote for solar panels for our roof. And knowing that they should be on the back according to these laws, I asked the person who did the quote just to put them on, just on the back, and he smiled knowingly at me and thought, and said, that's not possible, you don't have enough surface to generate the energy, you need it just on the back. They're gonna have to be across your roof. And I think we only have 2 trees that we're limiting, so whether or not the trees were there, they are needed on the entire roof. Our motivation was to be off the grid. You can't technically be off the grid, but to be selling energy back, and that wouldn't be possible. So it's a bit unfair or discriminatory to say they only can be on one side of the house, and leaves a lot of houses out of the opportunity to be a self-sustained system. And a number of our neighbors have generators, so being a house with solar panels, which is a goal of ours at some point, and being able to be self-sufficient, just like our cars are self-sufficient entities, it's a pretty cool idea that our house could be that way too. Thank you.
Thank you for coming and speaking. I do not believe we have any public hearings. And I will open it now for the board to recognize the board's opportunity to provide any reports. Alderman Harder.
Okay, for the PFE commission, we did meet last week, and I did warn everybody they should have come because we had a great award ceremony, some of which you referenced earlier. I'll go through the boring stuff, then I'll bring up the chief that asked to fill that out. They did have a coffee with a cup event last Wednesday at Starbucks inside Target. They had a high five Friday at Kirk Bay School. Participated in book reading with Mason Ridge Elementary, also on Friday. And the newest team member, Will P. Gay, was sworn in last Monday, and I believe that makes us full force, right?
One more background.
Okay, nearly full force. Okay, now, the award ceremony, which was fantastic. I'm gonna bring the chief up and let him speak just really briefly on that.
Please, Chief.
Thank you, Alderman, Mayor. Just really quickly, I thought it was worth mentioning, in addition to Officer Hamill and his heroic acts on that date, there was a young man, he's actually a collegiate athlete at Maryville University. He was involved in the collision, and he was responsible for, he had the wherewithal to be able to help a couple of the victims out of the vehicle preliminarily before Officer Hamill arrived to give more advanced help. And he was able to call 911 and gave accurate description of where the incident occurred. We were inundated with calls, and they were pinging all over the interstate and everywhere else. So had this young man not been able to call 911 and help those young ladies out of the vehicle when seconds mattered, it could have turned out a lot worse. And so what he did was nothing short of heroic as well. And I just wanted to mention that very quickly. His name was Gregory Hammond.
You know how the young lady is that had her clothes were on fire and how badly burned, or how she's doing? Do you have any?
It's my understanding there were some extensive injuries. I believe they're all recovering, but I think I think it's going to be a long road to recovery. But I'm just glad that Josh and Greg were there that night.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, I'm thankful they're alive, and I'm sure they are too. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, good. I'll start with Alderman Murphy.
Thank you, Chairman. So from the Parks and Trails Commission, we've got 2 great community events coming up this season. 2 more months to go. It's holiday season. Start your Thanksgiving right with a fun and festive walk through Town and Country's Longview area. There's going to be a 3-mile run walk beginning at 9 a.m., followed by a half-mile kids run at 10 a.m. Please go to the website to see if you can get your, make sure you order your registration and get a t-shirt by November 1. Special thanks to our sponsors on this event, People's National Bank, Missouri Baptist Medical Center, and Get Centered Counseling. The other event will be Winterfest. That'll be held on Saturday, December 6th from 1 to 7 p.m. What a fantastic event. This will be our third year repeating it. Again, Town Square will be transformed into a winter wonderland. Shopping, live music, dance performances, Santa's workshop. Santa himself will be arriving down Clayton Road at about 2 o'clock at Town Square. So please put that on your calendar as well. One of the highlights will be our tree lighting and time capsule installation. So we're celebrating our 75th anniversary with the final event of the year with the creation and planting of a time capsule at the park. That'll happen about 5:30. We'll get to hear the mayor speak, and I might even chime in a couple words. So that's a bonus right there, right? Then after that, there'll be Winterfest After Dark is what we're calling it, from 5:30 to 7. Performances by the award-winning Rivers Blenders Chorus, and also lots of lights that have been donated by Bloom Lawn Lights. The lights actually got installed earlier last week. Special thanks to People's National Bank, the presenting sponsor of Winterfest. Also, our Winterfest committee will have their final meeting at Longview on November 3rd at 5:30. Parks and Trails will meet after that, approximately at 6:30. So thank you.
Thank you, and I will tell you, I was impressed with how wildly successful that turkey trot is.
It's
I think the
amazing.
St. Patrick's come and they're dressed up in all kinds of, it's really a fun event.
It's a great way to
If you haven't
start.
done it, you ought to just come and take participate.
It's a fun way to start the day.
Alderman Sawyer.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to just say, I was absent from the last meeting, but I have reviewed the minutes and the video from the last meeting and fully prepared for any votes tonight.
Thank you.
But the Ways and Means Commission will be meeting this Wednesday, October 29th at 8:30 in the community room here at the Municipal Center, where we will be reviewing the budget for 26. And of course, it's open to the public. Anyone is invited to join us and hear what our staff has to present. So,
Thank you. It's always nice when some of the citizens come and listen to this stuff. They go to our retreat. The more involvement, the better. So thanks for pointing that out. Alderman Kinsella.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll just point out that the Planning and Zoning Commission will meet next on Wednesday, November 19th. We mentioned a few moments ago at 7 p.m. here at the Municipal Center. Currently, there is only one item on the agenda. It is for a conditional use permit for a driveway gate at 1377 South Mason Road.
Thank you. Alderman Hughes.
Thank you, Mayor. The next meeting of the Architecture Review Board is set for Monday, November the 3rd, 5:30 here at the Municipal Center, and all are welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle, I think we have an update on the facilities.
yes, Mayor, thank you for the opportunity. It's with great pleasure. Most of you, I think, remember Joe Schweitzer with Navigate, our owner's rep. Joe is actually going to walk us through an update where we are on the City Hall and Fire Station, City Hall, Police, and Fire Station. Also with us, who you probably have not met, is Roy Mangan. Roy is with Arch Images. He's our architect. And I just want to say kudos to both these guys. They've worked tremendously hard, as well as our staff, on many, many iterations to get to where we are today. I'm actually thrilled with what we've got to show you tonight. So, Joe, please take it away.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Board of Aldermen and Alderman Murphy. I may not make it to Santa's visit. I probably am on the naughty list this year, but not for you all.
As long as you make budget. We'll
Do we do it?
Yeah. Thanks for your time tonight. I'm going to go through a few slides here. So our objective is to provide an update to the PD Police Department, CH City Hall, and FS Fire Station projects. I provided a presentation many moons ago, and this is an update because lots of good work has happened in that time frame, from input from staff, as Bob mentioned. We're going to talk about what we've done the past few months, the schematic design plans as they currently situate. We're going to have a financial update and a schedule update. if you have any questions, please stop me anywhere along the way. So our project progress to date, many words here, much text. This is a big brick of text, but it's meaningful because we have done some very major milestones, and this is what a project and schematic design looks like. So we've had inspections of 2 of your existing facilities. The owner-architect contract was implemented, executed, and they have been working for the city. Fire flow test occurred here. There's not a fire sprinkler system at the 13443 fire station. That's not uncommon for that type of building for when it was built. So no harm, no foul, but just to let you know, we did our due diligence here, including some site walks, an Alta survey. That's where surveyors walk around the building and locate items above ground and underground. And we're going to talk in just a minute about some of the things that we found underground. We also did some geotechnical analysis. That's a boring rig that drills holes 25 feet deep into the ground around this site in particular. Good information came out of that. And then from there, we did design deliverables by Arc Images and their consultants that Navigate as your owner's rep did cost estimates to inform city where we think the budget is. This section is called obstacles and opportunities. So the 2 images that are kind of washed out because your projectors are so bright, that's awesome. These are floor plans, looking into this building. So for reference sake, this square, that's where we are this moment, right? PD is mostly in this space on the other side of this wall. At the concept plan, the idea was to put appendage or an addition on and add a sally port. Sally port's just a fancy term for parking garage for police. There was a plan to do an addition out to Plan West, or truly it's Southwest, but off to this side of the wall to add some office space. There was very minor upgrades in the basement at that point in time. This is circa January 2025, so some time ago. So one of the due diligence items that I mentioned was an Alta survey. What became known in the past couple months that wasn't known when we did the concept plan is that there are setbacks that constrain the use of this site, meaning this space and this space are very pretty, very open. You can't build there. The city can't build there. It's already encumbered through past decisions made. This gray line is an underground water service that serves parcels adjacent to you, not this parcel. That's an underground, unknown, there weren't as-built documents of it. It's wider than a water line because there's an easement around that says, hey, you can't build here, right? So that literally touches where the planned sally port was gonna be. This sort of greenish, it's a little washed. That's a fiber optic service underground, pretty major nerve ending to what operates the facility here with the computers and the telecommunications system. On the bottom side of this plan, these 2 blue lines, those are underground buried water lines. One's a domestic water service, the water that we drink, wash our hands with. The other is fire water service. That's the water that's providing fire sprinkler protection. So these are obstacles in general terms. However, there were some opportunities since our last discussion about this particular set of projects. Sometime back in June, July, August timeframe, this group talked about potentially doing some public works projects, right? And we're going to talk about one of those contracts later tonight. But what those projects do is free up space downstairs, and they free up one office on the first floor, should those be implemented. So those are what I would call opportunities. Questions so far?
Well, it sounded like not a lot of great news, honestly, in terms of areas where we can actually build.
On the exterior, pretty constrained, a lot more constrained than just a casual observer would have realized.
Okay.
And that's that, you know, glass half full, glass half empty. These things are all relative and they often are perspective based. So we're not coming to you tonight with a problem that's open-ended. We're coming to you with some obstacles and some opportunities, and where I think we've got some solutions to share.
Okay.
This is, again, a brick of text. I'm gonna hit a few of these specifically, and then I'm gonna let Roy talk through the pretty pictures version. But just as a reminder, these are scopes of work, or, you know, kind of like menu ideas of what the project could be. So at this point in time, there's schematic design. We're still looking at, you know, some exterior upgrades, right? New entry vestibule, your front door. That's still part of this project. Some housekeeping to the facade, you know, maintenance improvements, those things really got to happen. And they're not encumbered by setbacks or underground utilities. ADA improvements, there are multiple areas of opportunity to improve the accessibility within this building. Just be real, and I'm going to just use plain language. When this building was built, that wasn't as important and integral to daily life as it is. So this is not a criticism. It's just, you know, times have changed from when this building was built, right? MEPT, you know, that's probably something you know. Yes, sir.
Joe, I got a question for you.
Please.
On the ADA improvements, and not that I'm trying to be somehow not sympathetic to anybody who is confined to a wheelchair, but in the bottom of this building, we have locker rooms for the police department. And so is it necessary then, because it's to have an elevator in this building? Because I've heard that that's a big stumbling block to build an elevator inside this building. And if it is, what is the value of having done it? If only the police department is going up and down to this lower level, and if you're confined to a wheelchair, you're probably not able to participate as a police officer.
Sure. I'm gonna take the first answer to that. My colleague might have some other thoughts to share too. But as a first response, building codes and in particular accessibility codes aren't made in the same way. Accessibility code is a federally Department of Justice implemented thing, and it, for the most part, doesn't have a whole lot of interpretation at state or county or city level. It's pretty specific to what the DOJ has said. And what the language basically says is if you have a multi-story building and you have staff, and that isn't defined by types of staff or delineations of staff, but it's if you have staff that have to access multiple floors, they have to do that from an internal path as opposed to an external path. When this building was built, this building didn't have that constraint upon it. Now, I'm just a guy giving you what I understand the interpretation to be. My understanding is that you have to provide it because you're making improvements to the current building to bring it up to that minimum level of Department of Justice compliance. So that's part one. Part two, and I'll make sure.
Let me stop you there.
Yeah.
Within that particular requirement, what level of improvement do you have to do to the building that draws in the requirement to have the elevator? Is it a percentage of the building has to be changed or something like that?
There are, it's an international existing building code, and there are repairs that can occur to a building without triggering that, but capital improvements such as this, which is moving a wall, changing a layout, making.
So this is
You know,
big enough.
This is big enough.
To generate that requirement.
This is big enough. and I'm sorry, I'm talking a little bit for Roy.
Yeah.
But I can affirmatively say, you've got two architects in the room that have analyzed this, and Roy's team paid a third-party code reviewer.
We've looked at it.
Yeah.
If I can just jump in
Yeah,
real quick, yeah. What it really comes down to is the amounts of improvements that you're making. Joe had mentioned renovation or repair work. So if you were coming in, you were replacing carpeting, ceiling tiles, repainting, changing out a door or two here or there, then you would not be kicked into that realm of bringing things up to current code requirements. But because we are taking areas and developing new areas and putting in new offices, new cells and all that kind of stuff, you have now got yourself into a situation where you are required to do some upgrades to the facility. Could you go in and start to, not argue, but debate whether or not we reach a certain limit or not? I think you probably would not win that argument based on the authorities having jurisdiction in that realm, because you now jump into kind of a federal level, and we would need to get attorneys involved and all kinds of stuff to fight against it if you had to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're at with the.
Okay, no, I totally understand. I just wanted to see, because it evidently is a challenge for this
Yes.
building, and it's an expensive
And I
challenge.
think we have a solution for you, so we're hoping that you like the solution that we have on that, so.
Thank you.
I'll hit just a few more things, and absolutely, it's a great question. If you got other questions, please feel free. So I think I was mentioning NEPT improvements. That's HVAC, electrical, plumbing. You all know that probably. Looking at a handful of other things like an inclusive quiet room, lactation room, on the city hall and PD side. So these are building general. These are more specific to the two different uses. Relocations of some scattered and sort of disconnected staff to a more integral part with the rest of the staff, making sure that the conference room is up to date, document record storage security. This actually is a space that you have downstairs. You have much of the city records stored, but it's not in an individual room. It's open to a larger area, so this is a security improvement. On the police side, some additional office space, but also streamlining how spaces flow between each other and function together. Holding and processing, Roy's going to specifically hit that one in just a minute. And actually, it's a good place to transition. Roy, why don't you take it over?
No problem. Thank you. Thank you. Again, Roy Mangan with Arc Images. I do want to appreciate you guys allowing us to work with you guys. We find it a very interesting project and love working with city halls and those guys. So today what I want to do is give you guys kind of an overview of what some of the modifications were. What you're seeing here on the screen is our basement floor plan. In the programming analysis of the project, Joe had mentioned we were looking at 2 additional builds to the outside of the building. As we started to analyze the program and analyze the needs, we found a solution that if some of the public works is moving out of there, it leaves a vacancy that we can fill. And filling a project as opposed to building on the outside is a little bit more efficient. We're able to utilize the structure and go in and utilize the spaces that are being vacated. So what we have here is the existing garage that is down on that lower level. We are going to take and we're going to utilize that as the sally port. Okay, good. Hey, that's even better, right? So what we're doing is we're looking at utilizing this door on my right here, for the sally port entrance, a confined space, secured space, so that the police officer can work with the detainee, bring them into a staging area. They shut the door, go into the booking and processing area, and process the detainee. They're able to then come out, take the detainee, do some fingerprinting and other processing. And then we have 2 cells along this area for the male, and then a female cell, which has to be by code away from both visual and sound from the male cells. So we've got our good separation between the two cells, and then we are able to have then up to 5 detainees at a time. If we go up to 6, now we get into a whole evac system and everything else that would be budget constrained. So we checked with the chief, and 5 is plenty of cell space. And so we've met the needs of the program, created the cells here, created the booking, processing, fingerprinting, all the functions that occur in here, as well as food prep and those other support spaces all within one space. We've also designed this area to allow the public to enter into this fingerprinting by actually creating secure doors on both sides of it. So we can secure this door and then bring in the public to do fingerprinting also, because that is a service that can be done by the police department on occasion. So by utilizing both the secured side and unsecured side, we found it was a very economical and good use of space. Off of that area also are the support spaces that the police department would need. In the detainee areas, we have a hard interview room here, and then we have a shower toilet area here as they're processing them. So if they come in and they're just a mess and we got to get them in the shower to clean them up for their own good, we've got the ability to do that in a secured environment. And if we need to talk to them and find out what's going on, the hard interview room is right there in the processing area. So that area was a very efficient space that we were able to design within the existing facility itself, creating a masonry wall construction around it. Adjacent to it, what we were looking at doing is adding additional locker space to the women's locker room. So we were able to gain the amount of lockers that they required by bumping out into this corridor space, creating a new corridor space, and then also creating a report writing and unsecured evidence processing area that we would then put the evidence through a secured locker system. On the backside would be the secured evidence storage area. So the officer that is in charge of evidence processing would have access only to that evidence storage. It helps in the procedures and the processes that you have to have at a police station to make sure that your evidence doesn't get compromised. And so by having that system of unsecured to secured is key in that process, and we have the ability to make that happen. To answer the ADA compliancy of the restrooms, we first looked at renovating these restrooms to comply with ADA compliancy. The cost of that was prohibitive in the budget constraints that we have, and so we were saying, okay, let's take another look at it, and we created a single-use ADA shower restroom that if you need to put another locker in, you could certainly accommodate those requirements on a lot smaller scale for those that didn't need that. Something about the ADA compliancy and police, fire, and those types of occupations, the code does not exempt them from being ADA compliant. That's the whole key to why we have to do it for both police and fire, is they're not exempted. Okay, we've been through this many times, and they said, well, we'd love to give you, we understand, but you're not exempt. So that's why we do have to do it for them too. Any questions on this lower level? I will point out one other area here on this left-hand side. That is the storage area that Joe had mentioned. We are going to secure that by a couple of walls in this area here, so that will be secured. The elevator location that we chose is located here. That'll allow people to come in and out from upstairs down into this corridor system, get into areas throughout the basement.
If I could interrupt.
Yes.
Alderman Flores, a question.
Is the police cell, where they have the shower, that wasn't needed to be ADA? Will that need to be?
The locker room system
No,
In
detention.
in the detention, it is an ADA system.
Okay, so that's also ADA compliant?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, that shower restroom in the center here is an ADA. You can see it's a little bit different configuration than the cells are. So that, with that big circle in there, tells us that we can turn that wheelchair around as we need to.
What is that gap by the shower, just below it? Looks like it's going out to a door.
Right here, that is the plumbing chase. You'll notice that there's another one here and the one's here. What that allows the police officers to do is allows the detainee to use the facility without flushing possible evidence down the toilet. So they are able to use the facility. They would then back away, officers could inspect, and then they could go out and do a manual flush from the outside. It's part of the police design and how you would design a facility like that. That's what those are for.
With the document storage room, what kind of physical security measures are going to be put in there? Whether it's fireproofing, waterproofing?
Right now, what we are doing is just to secure that with the doors and the wall systems. We don't have any up-level 3-hour room or anything like that. We've not discussed that as far as that goes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, any other questions on the lower level? Okay, I'll go ahead and move up to the upper level then, and we'll talk about that a little bit. So in taking the detainees down to the lower level, what that has done is created some space where the existing processing area is for us to be able to utilize. What we have added to these areas is a roll call room with a watch commander's station office area. And then off to the right-hand side in the old Sally Port, what we have here is a duty or a bag storage area. They all have these duty bags that they have. They carry around a lot of the essential items, their vests and those types of things. And they're able to then go in the morning, hit that office, grab their bags, and then come back out and get out to the patrol cars pretty quickly. So it's a good area that we were able to put in together. Some of the other modifications that we have in the plan is we have located the elevator in this corner of the space, which still allows us to get within the structural confinements of the facility. And it allows us to create an office here with an office here, and then the conference room moves to that location. So we're able to hopscotch a couple of people around to make their efficiencies in their operations. We have also looked at putting in an ADA accessible ramp here in this room along this wall to be able to get access to the dais itself. We've looked at putting in the mayor's office here, as well as Bianca's office and the IT and server room. And then this area here is the police administration with a couple of their office work areas, another greeter at this location here, and then a work copy area. In moving some of those other things around, we were able to then come in and put in a kitchen area with some dining around the existing janitor's room to allow for more access to that function.
How's the square footage for the server room compared to what we have right now?
The actual server room itself is about the same. These walls that you see here, these 3 walls, are all the same size that they are today. But because of the occupants that are in that space now leaving, there is actually more room to that area. So we're able to take the City Hall computer systems from scattered throughout and convert them into that one room. So it becomes a lot more efficient for City Hall itself, City Hall and police, once that occupant has been vacated. Let's see here. What else do I want to say? Oh, and Joe mentioned that the front vestibule area, we are looking at doing, the new vestibule area here. We're going to look at creating a door that comes in here on court night that they can put in a metal detector along this side, and then allows people to exit without having to go through that area again. It's a more efficient way of entering and exiting the building, and it creates a lot better traffic flow during that process. And then the chief's office moves up in this location. And then we've got basically the police area over here, and then the City Hall area functions are over here, remaining virtually the same as what they are now. So, anything else?
Roy, also the Public Works window, which we currently do not have.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so what we are also doing is we have the 2 windows down below, but then we're adding this Public Works transaction window into this area here. So public can stay within that public corridor and then communicate directly with that office for Public Works.
So with the structure, In terms of HVAC, do you see significant changes, efficiencies coming out of that?
Yeah, we have analyzed the existing facility and the uses that we have in here, and we are short on mechanical system requirements. So we will be adding another unit to this facility. That mechanical unit will sit right outside here, next to what was the Sally Port, and we will bring that in and then do the duct work in through that area there. Very efficient. But we will be adding another unit to the facility because of the uses and the condition and capacity of what the building is sitting here today.
Is there any flex space for future offices or any growth in staff?
We don't have any really built-in like empty offices or future offices like that are sitting here today. As if the staff were to grow, we could certainly start to look at other areas and kind of carve them back up. But no, we have not in the program had any future areas.
Alderman, there is one office space that the chief anticipates he may need in the future in the police side. Admin side, pretty much stay the same. We do have a workstation back in Public Works that gets used for an intern. And so we would anticipate that would still be available.
We'll also have an additional workspace in our court area, because that person is vacating and going to a dedicated office instead of the sort of box you can see in there right now, the modular thing. And then keeping some additional areas for shared use that could ultimately have to turn back into an office space if we need it. Like where Morgan sits today will be a shared sort of greeting, report writing, filling out applications room, but if we end up having to hire somebody, that could turn back into an office.
I'm just worried, if we spend all this money, then we need to, our city staff expands and we're like, oh, we just spent $5 million on a building and we don't have room for.
You just trim some off the city administrator office.
Yeah, we'll put some tables in there.
They can go on the hall.
But there are some areas that we could really use.
Yeah.
Just.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. I'll go in a little bit, highlights of the fire station scope of work. Again, a group of text here. What we were looking at on our base scope of work was to look at some window and door improvements. There are some exterior maintenance improvements that we're going to be looking at doing. And then we're investigating some thermal insulation in the sleeping quarters, again, to help improve that building. When that building was built, there were quite a few inconsistencies and inaccuracies done there that we're trying to improve there. Looking at new apparatus bay doors and some major HVAC improvements. We are analyzing the mechanical systems. We're continuing to do that to see what we have to work with and how do we either replace or improve what's going on in that direction. We're in that process as we speak. Additional considerations would be exterior maintenance improvements, making sure that we've got a lot of the little components picked up and that we've got another life cycle of that building going to be there for the future. Thermal insulation in the apparatus bay and attic spaces, again, to help keep the transition between the outside air, which is what an apparatus bay is in a sense, to the conditioned spaces of the house. We want to make sure there's a good thermal barrier there. And then doing some toilet room upgrades and finishes. Those have been there for a long time. They need some loving. So we're going to give them a little bit of an upgrade. So as you can see, this is the fire station, the floor plan. Again, doing some improvements in different areas, in the bunk room areas, and in the kitchen and restroom areas, working through those, trying to give them some overall upgrades to the facility. Okay. Any questions before I let Joe back up? Yes, sir.
For this building in the firehouse, what is there expected lifespan of these improvements, or do you guys measure that, or do you guys consider like how old is this building, how long has it lasted, and how long would you project the renovations to?
Yeah, I think the components that we're doing to this facility, some of the upgrades that we are to the outside skins of them, are going to help improve the life span of the building. as far as the structure of the building and the bones of it, so to speak, you've got a really good building here that I think you can last quite a long time. It's definitely has a value to it that I think by putting the dollars you're putting into it now is a great return on investment, I think, for what you've got going.
I think the B-52 came out in 1957. It's still a very viable bomber. It's amazing how, if you take care of stuff, how long it can last.
Thank you, Roy. All right, so, Santa, where's Santa? Yeah, so financial updates. I'm gonna just kind of walk you through in big level numbers, but this slide, this is literally a clip it from January 13th of 2025 when I was standing here in front of you all. So at that time, the decision was made to allocate $5 million in total program budget, not construction, but total is like everything, and $2 million for the fire station, right? So let's start grading on ourselves and see how we've done so far. This is, again, a schematic design update. We've got design development, construction documents, and an issue for bid. So this is one milestone in more meetings like this. But on 8/25, we had a set of plans that Navigate took off as industry parlance for an estimate, right? We have 2 in-house general trade estimators that have been the secret to our sauce for a number of years. And then we have some outside consultants who do MEP estimating, as well as Roy's team did their own MEP estimates too. But what you'll see here, I'm going to zoom in for impact, is like, hey, late in August, we had a $6.5 million project that had budget for 4.3. So I didn't come to you that night because you probably would have thrown me out of the room. What our team, Roy's team, your staff spent a lot of time together, elbow to elbow, emails, phone calls, went through an exhaustive effort to turn every stone and really understand what has to happen, what does not have to happen. And what that did was it resulted in another estimate that Navigate did that came in at 4.6. Again, budget is 4.3. You might say, hey, Joe, like, why are you here tonight? Well, I'm here to say that in addition to shaking out almost $2 million, and I put a lot of this on your staff, we are within arm's reach, because an estimate is an estimate, it's not bid opening, right? So we have some magic crystal balls and we have some magic calculators and we do some funky spreadsheet work, but it's within the realm of contingencies and escalations, right? I would much rather be painting a picture that said 4.29999 and we all say we've done great work, but I'm here to say that we're going to have to continue on this process through design development and construction documents and stay on top of the process and make sure we get there, right? Because I'm sure you don't want to allocate more cash. How does that translate to total program cost, right? Because total program is the all-in number. So that's what this slide says. Middle column is this building. The column to the right of that is 13443 Clayton, and then these total up. There's some weird ghosting going on there. But with the numbers translated over, there are a handful of other categories of costs, like these are bid day costs from contractors. Special construction is having utility tap fees and some of the other costs of doing business that you don't pay a contractor for. FF&E. These are putting furniture inside of spaces that are about to exist through this project. Professional services, these are the chunks that get surveys done and geotechnical borings and architects and project managers. All of these things total up to approximately 7.2 of the 7 that we've estimated this time. And again, we're here to update you on the process and make you aware of where we're at. We're intending to move into design development to keep on keeping on. We'll have another estimating rounds in January on that front. So I'm gonna slide just to give you a little bit of a schedule update. What's unique about this slide, this is words and a little bit of graphic, but the words are applicable to the City Hall PD fire station scope of work. What you see down below is actually a planning timeline for the fire station, a planning timeline for this building, landing somewhere in the Q1, early Q2 of 26. This block is for public works. And later, I'm gonna get a little more audience of yours to talk about getting an architect on board to do a design phase that would go through Q2, early Q2 of 2026. That could help start getting the equipment and your 2 public works staff out of this building into another location. So
What have you been seeing in terms of equipment costs? You've got bidding and contracts basically 6 months from now, right? What is the trend the last 6 months? Are they holding steady or rising or?
it's a very simple question with a very complicated answer.
That's what I specialize in.
Yeah, we have actually seen some leveling off of the huge escalation swings, right? We have also literally seen lots of just the simple words, tariff chatter, tariff impacts. Some of that has been actuated, some of that is not. Legitimate is probably a strong term, but some of those tariffs we've been able to, stiff arm and prevent from increasing bottom dollar cost. In our total program budget, what we have forecasted is, I'll just scroll back to it.
Yeah, that one I want to ask another question on. So this way, I actually had another question too, which was how much of the reduction that you realized was the recognition of all the stuff that's going on underground? Because the underground part has reduced the footprint of activity.
Yeah, I'll answer both of those. Let me answer your first question first, or make sure I get there. We have included a 3% escalation for escalation. We still have retained a 15% project contingency. Now, some people use design contingency, some people use construction contingency. It's all your money. It's all the city of Town and Country's money. That's not in the construction value. So there's still earmarks of that if those percentages were decreased, it doesn't change the scope of work. Okay, so let me go back to your second question, I think, sir, which was.
It's your other table, if you scroll down, it was where you saw the jump going down in the cost. And I was just curious how much of that was timed relative and impacted by the realization that the underground activity was more than we expected.
So I'll answer that by saying that both of these 2 columns, both of these sets of estimates were individual brand new takeoffs of the scope of work with use inside of the building, not the exterior additions. So the $2 million change was right sizing of the work inside the building, not offsets of outside versus inside.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If I could just make just one overall comment is that, obviously, you guys have been thorough, done a nice job. I super appreciate the updates. These are really important to the board. And the other comment I would make simply is, I guess I see too many things that the feds pay for. The city staff, the board, our Ways and Means Commission are very, very attuned to being very good stewards of the public's money here. And they really work very hard for every dime that we spend, and they analyze it. I'm not suggesting this happens, but there'll be a lot of unhappy campers. If it's 7.2 instead of 7, I'm good with that. If it's 11 million, we're gonna have a lot of unhappy campers. I'm just saying, I mean, I was not mayor when Town Square was initiated, and are completed. And I still hear from all the cost overruns. There really weren't cost overruns. The Board of Aldermen went into great depth to analyze that project. And everything that was added was almost always unanimously approved by the board, so it wasn't like, but it was, to the public in general, it was like, we were gonna spend this number of dollars, and it was about another 5 million of those dollars. So I just I just want you to, and I'm sure you do, but understand where the city's coming from, the city staff, the board, the ways and means, where we're coming from. I love the work you're doing so far, and I love the time frame, because I also know on our project that it's 2033 and we're finishing up, you know what I'm saying? And things like that happen, and nobody can predict the next pandemic and all the other things that could really throw a wrench into this. I get that, but being fiscally close to where we set and on a timetable that we keep, I mean, those are just critical things for myself, for the board, for the city, frankly. I just wanted to impress that upon you. I mean, I knew you already get it, but I just want to be sure you get where we're coming from on it.
We do 100%.
Okay.
We're fully supportive of ensuring the city's goals on that front.
Okay, thank you.
I think I hit most of the schedule. I don't think there was too much there to say other than, really with this idea, you're handshaking, you're tying yourselves on the improvements of this building with the public works projects occurring in an expeditious manner.
Right.
So those two become a handshake. Fire station's not so much, right? Because it's not a domino anything. But that I did want to share. So that's the end of all that I have. Thank you very much. I'm appreciative of you giving me so much of your time. If you've got questions, I'm happy to answer any more.
I do really appreciate the due diligence and your coming, and I think it's important for the board to be on a knowledgeable basis of where we're standing in terms of progress, groundbreaking, staff, costs, all those things. So, and I know, I'm sure you'd rather be home watching Monday Night Football, so I appreciate you being here. I really do. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Roy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Is that presentation going to be on the website?
I can put it
You
on
can-
there.
Yeah, good idea.
I have actually one question for the chief. Chief, you're obviously well in tune, there's gonna be no problems with running the PD with this project or anything, you're well in tune with everything that's going on?
Yes, Alderman, this has been a team effort from the beginning. I think this is a great overall plan for each individual portion of the city involved, and I think it's a great way forward.
I just wanna make sure you're, not that anybody.
We didn't show any of this to him until tonight.
It's important that you keep operations running like a tick.
Everyone has been very, very, I couldn't be happier. It's been a great team effort. Thank you.
Good point, Ben. Good point. Honestly, Bob, was the best report you've ever done.
See, I'm bringing other people to make my report.
All right,
Here,
moving on to unfinished business. Bill number 25-43, sponsored by the board as a whole, without objection, with the city clerk read the bill for the second time.
Bill number 2543 is an ordinance amending Title IV Land Use and Title V Building and Construction of the Town and Country Municipal Code to include various sections of Chapter 405 zoning regulations and Chapter 500 building codes and building regulations pertaining to solar energy systems.
Thank you. I seek a motion to approve in a second.
Second?
Any discussion or amendment? Alderman Kinsella.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to accept substitute bill number 25-43 for consideration.
Do give us a reason for that?
Absolutely. First of all, the original bill is designed to streamline the process of adding a solar energy system to someone's house. So we've looked at that process, and the Planning and Zoning Commission spent a great deal of time studying it. So by making rear-facing energy systems much easier for residents to install, that was the primary goal, is to simplify the process. However, the substitute bill keeps the front-facing or street-facing solar energy systems as requiring a CUP, as it does today. The primary rationale for that is that, as I've surveyed residents about it, they have said that they would like to have a lengthy period of time. And as you know, anything that comes before the Board of Aldermen requires 2 meetings, a first reading and then a follow-up reading to make a vote. So that gives sufficient time for residents to respond to and understand the issue. And this also, current system provides a formal notification to everyone within 300 yards. So it is also beneficial for anyone who's impacted by the question. So with the elements that I'm describing, I'd like to keep the current system in place, and that's what the substitute bill would do, only for front-facing solar energy.
So somebody who wants front facing can come in front of P and Z and ask for a CUP for that?
Yes, as they do today.
Okay, fine. Any other discussion?
Can we get a second on that motion to substitute?
I second.
Thank you. Any further discussion among the board?
I had one question.
Sure.
In terms of side panels,
Side-facing, or
side-facing panels, will that require conditional use, or can those be approved just through the permit process?
well, as I understand, Ryan, maybe I'll speak better to that, because it's not
The
defined.
key is if you
Side-facing, not street-facing.
That's the thing. If it's street facing in any manner, it needs a conditional use permit. So side facing, you can't see it from the street, it's permitted.
Okay.
That's the way it is today, or at least from it's treated like a rear facing.
Ryan, in terms of, because I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, you don't need an exact number, but people who come in for a CUP for front-facing solar panels in front of P&Z, what percentage are approved or not approved?
They're all,
Okay,
every solar energy system I've overseen has been approved.
I couldn't remember turning one down.
The only one that was not approved was the most recent one, but it wasn't approved because he withdrew it.
Right.
And he went
He had
to a
discussion
greater-
with his neighbors and he decided to just do it in the back, but every other one that actually came through was approved.
Yes.
So I thought, I just wanted
They weren't maybe unanimous,
I get it.
planning and zoning, but
Right.
they were.
okay.
Hey, Ryan, do you have any insights into time from approved CUP to the actual installation and running of the solar panels? Is that something you have any insights onto?
From the date that the conditional use is
Yeah, it
permitted.
signs off on the CUP and then the actual plug in and
The
go.
building permits typically ready to be reviewed fairly quickly and issued. So I would say in general, it's a matter of weeks, not months. Every case, we see a lot of different solar companies
Sure.
in town, and they all have different ways of doing business, but in general, it's weeks, not months, because the building permit's ready.
Yeah, I was just curious if you had any insights on that.
Yes.
Alderman Herbert.
Because this issue of front-facing solar panels is an issue of appearance, not an issue of extra building or something like that affects planning and zoning, it seems to me that it's completely appropriate to let architecture review make the determination, because they're the ones who determine appearance. And we don't have to put this kind of issue through the other commissions. So that's my opinion.
All in favor of adopting the substitute for consideration, say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries, but not unanimously. Any further discussion or amendment? I would ask the city clerk for a roll call vote.
This is on the bill as substituted. Alderman Kinsella.
Aye.
Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman Steinhubel.
Aye.
Alderman Harder.
Aye.
Alderman Sawyer.
Aye.
Alderman Gerber.
Nay.
Alderman Hughes.
Nay.
And Alderman Schwer.
Aye.
The bill passes 6-2 as substituted and becomes ordinance number 4715.
Thank you very much. Next bill, number 25-44, sponsored by the board as a whole, without objection, to the city clerk read the bill for the second time.
Bill number 2544 is an ordinance amending Title II, Public Health, Safety, and Welfare, and Title IV, Land Use of the Town and Country Municipal Code to include various sections of Chapter 205, Animal Regulations, and Chapter 405, Zoning pertaining to residential accessory structures and buildings.
Thank you. Seek a motion and second to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I would ask the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman Steinhubel.
Aye.
Alderman Gerber.
Aye.
Alderman Hughes.
Aye.
Alderman Sawyer.
Aye.
Alderman Schwer.
Aye.
Alderman Harder.
Aye.
And Alderman Kinsella.
Aye.
The bill passes unanimously and becomes ordinance number 4716.
Thank you. Next bill, number 25-46, also sponsored by the board as a whole, without objection, to the city clerk read the bill for the second time.
Bill number 2546 is an ordinance amending Title I, Government Code of the Town and Country Municipal Code, specifically by the amendment of Section 145.040 pertaining to financial payments made by the city.
Thank you. I seek a motion and second to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Alderman Kinsella.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Joanne, if you don't mind, I have a quick question for you on this particular bill. Just for clarity, and especially for anyone who's watching from home, what is the process for reviewing a payment prior to making that payment? And if we're going to change the process, I want to know how many people look at a check before it goes out.
Okay, so the process is when we receive the accounts payable, then it is received by that department who incurred the expenditure in the first place. Then they review it and the department director over that department will approve it. Then it gets moved to the senior accountant and she will review it to make sure all is in order, and if anything is missing, she will inquire of that department what they need to submit. After that process, then she submits it to me and I review it. And then if there is another department director who needs to review it, that person will sign off. Otherwise, it's Mr. Shelton who will sign off. So it's a rather detailed process.
Great, thank you. It sounds like there's at least 3 levels of looking at a check before it goes out. Thank you.
Alderman Murphy.
Joanne.
Oh, yeah.
I know we've already communicated a little bit on this, time frame.
Yes.
The current process, roughly, how much time does that take, and the new process, what would that take?
So it depends. Sometimes if we have an extra week between board meetings, that then takes more time then for us to get accounts payable approved. So we process this right now about every 2 weeks, we're process accounts payable. But if this is approved now, we can do it every week if necessary. And there are circumstances sometimes where, for example, the Parks Department might need a check to pay for a vendor. And instead of us doing other processes where we have to pay by credit card, or I will have to write a check out of petty cash, this would just be a little bit better of a process.
Thank you.
Alderman Schwer.
One last question, is there a cutoff, a dollar amount that needs to be board approved, or is it?
We would still follow the same procedures that we do now. So when we do the warrant list, we follow the procedures and we have the Board of Aldermen approve everything and over $15,000, same process.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I ask the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Alderman Sawyer.
Aye.
Alderman Gerber.
Aye.
Alderman Kinsella.
Aye.
Alderman Hughes.
Aye.
Alderman Harder.
Aye.
Alderman Schwer.
Aye.
Alderman Steinhubel.
Aye.
And Alderman Murphy.
Aye.
The bill passes unanimously and becomes ordinance number 4717.
Thank you very much. Next, bill number 25-47, also sponsored by the board. Without objection, would the city clerk read the bill for the second time?
Bill number 2547 is an ordinance authorizing the city administrator to execute a professional services agreement with H Design Group LLC for provision of consultant services associated with the construction of a public works facility.
Thank you. I seek a motion and second to approve.
Second.
Thanks. Any discussion? I would ask the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Alderman Steingebel?
Aye.
Alderman Kinsella?
Aye.
Alderman Harder?
Aye.
Alderman Murphy?
Aye.
Alderman Schwer?
Aye.
Alderman Hughes?
Aye.
Alderman Sawyer?
Aye.
And Alderman Gerber.
Aye.
The bill passes unanimously and becomes ordinance number 4718.
Thank you. Next is a resolution number R11-2025. A resolution approving an amendment to the indenture of trust and restrictions agreement for Takara subdivision in the city of Town and Country. I seek a motion and second to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or amendment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Passes unanimously. Next, bill number 25-48, sponsored by the board as a whole. Without objection, would the city clerk read the bill for the first time?
Bill number 2548 is an ordinance authorizing the city to enter into an STBG Surface Transportation Block Grant Program Agreement for the Boak Road Resurfacing and Pedestrian Improvements Project for and on behalf of the city of Town and Country with the state of Missouri by and through the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission.
Thank you. This bill, number 2548, is continued to the meeting of Monday, November 10th, 2025, for the second reading and consideration. The warrant list is in the amount of $320,770.13. I seek a motion and second to approve.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion or amendment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Alderman Hughes.
I wanted to ask where the deer was picked up, my usual question.
The first is at Brynwick and Ladue, and the second was from Pine Rise Drive.
Okay, thank you. And then I had one more question, if you don't mind.
I do not mind.
Okay. I think it's on page 4 I wrote down. Bear with me. Okay, when I'm looking at the Serve Pro prisoner cell cleanup, what happened?
From time to time, when we have detainees, they cause certain issues that could create a potential biohazard. And what ServPro is, they come in and remediate. We use them quite frequently during COVID as
Okay.
well. So they basically just come in and do a professional cleanup, so we can ensure that all people that are in that facility are operating in a sterile environment, as sterile as can be.
I was just wondering what happened.
You can, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
It's a little bit of an unruly person.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And then finally, I think pretty much everybody in the room knows that, unfortunately, Alderman Steingebel will be moving out of Town and Country, at least on a temporary basis. And so this will be his last meeting as an alderman of his ward. And I certainly want to publicly thank him for his service to this board. It's been exemplary. We have a proclamation for you. He served as chairman of Public Works, and did a lot of things with that, assisting in updating the city's international code council procedures, facilitating stormwater projects, and overall the city's building access controls and annual renewal of important contracts, grounds care, snow removal, etc. And he did a lot. He talked to a lot of neighbors face to face and brought us a lot of information about what's actually going on in his street, in his ward. When I would go to homeowners meetings in his ward, he was there. Even if he had just got done helping move. Yeah, I mean, I was a little bedraggled with that night, but he was there. And so I do want to present you with this proclamation.
In reply, I'm going to read my notes to you
with the board this morning for the record, if I could.
I didn't read it yet, so I'm a little
Yeah.
nervous, but go ahead.
So, just because I wanted it in the record, and I didn't really.
Please, feel free to, absolutely.
So I wrote this morning to the board and to the mayor, but good morning, Mayor and fellow board members. It is hard to believe that it's already been 8 great years since I moved back to the city of Town and Country. From my first move here with my parents and my siblings in 1968, or our most recent chapter, my family has celebrated many memorable milestones, and we feel incredibly fortunate to have shared them in such a special community. 3 years ago, after our children left for college, my wife Sheila and I began thinking about downsizing our home in St. Louis. After a few missed starts and stops earlier this summer, we officially put our house back on the market in early September, and we sold it the day later. So thrilled to be passing this on to another family with children who will be able to enjoy it as much as we have. While we hope to stay in Town and Country, we haven't yet found the right home, so we'll be moving into temporary housing for now as we continue our search. With this move, as you know, I will be stepping down as the Board of Aldermen for Ward 2. It has been truly an honor and privilege to serve this community. I have greatly enjoyed working with Mayor Reed, who I consider one of the most caring and decent people I've ever worked with. Under his guidance, our city is charting a confident and successful path forward. In addition, I've learned much and appreciated working with the entire board and the many great staff members of the city. All of you have been great, but notably Bob Shelton and Ashley McNamara. Both have been excellent guides and mentors from the day I walked in, trying to run for office. So you've both been tremendous. So thank you for that. So I wish you and your families all the best. I'm sure you'll see me around. Warm regards, Johnson. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, thank you for those kind words.
Very nice.
And everybody wishes you well and hopes you are back in the city sometime in the foreseeable future.
As do I. Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it.
Thank you again for your service. I appreciate it. At this point, I would seek a motion and second to adjourn.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Great meeting. Great picture.
We each get to take a flower since Sheila did